Hey, good afternoon, or yeah, afternoon, everybody. It's going on 12:30. We're about 64 in the garage, and no heat. I don't plan on staying out here that long. Just enough to give you a caught-up video. First, I want to apologize to all my subscribers out there. Sorry for the lack of videos, but my granddaughter decided that I needed a cold, and this thing has just been hanging on forever and ever and ever. And if you can tell, I'm still a little nasally, and so that's it. So right after this little introduction, I'm going to play. You notice the ATC's gone, so I want to play the video that we were doing on the ATC. Pat and I finished up. Mostly Pat did, and then we got it running. There's a short 9-second video of it showing it's running, and then after that, then I will put the rest of today's video on as far as the car is concerned. But first, I'm going to talk about UPS. See that box right there? This right there? Yeah. No, I just got off the phone with Hazy Days, telling him that his package is on the way. I boxed that up yesterday. I took it to UPS yesterday, and they wanted $269 to ship it to him in Wales. And all that was in there was his branding iron and a 6-pack of Chub beer in cans. And they wanted $269. I said, screw that. Came back home, had a flat rate, United States Post Office flat rate box, and boxed it up and shipped it to them, and boxed it up and took it down to the post office this morning, and it was $200 less than what UPS wanted to ship that. Hazy will have it in 6 to 10 business days, they said, so I don't expect this Sunday's show, but maybe next Sunday's show he'll have his branding iron and be drinking some Chub beer. So look at this for the ATC video and the short running video, and then after that, then we'll bring you up to date on what we did on the car. Later. Morning, tubers. We're putting the ATC back together.
It's all-terrain cycle for you people who don't know what ATC stands for.
Yeah, and we got it warm in here. So as we
get cold.
Yep, because old people get cold. So as we move along, we will show you different things. Right now we're putting the seals in the stator plate. Guess we're warming it up, so more in a minute.
Maybe let.
All right, flywheel's back on. Now we got to figure out the wiring. We got this module that goes on.
Sorry, I just saw your text.
So that's where we're at. More in a minute. All right, tubers. Pat just left. Actually, he left with Robin. They're going to Walmart, do some Christmas shopping. We had, that's where we cracked the case, a little piece broke off. So it's JB Welding back on right now. We got the tank on because we have to put this module somewhere, and we're trying to figure out where the module is going to go up underneath the tank, and there's not too much room, so I'm thinking we're probably going to have to go on the bottom of the bar and maybe do something there, maybe do a C-clamp and screw it to the bottom of the C-clamp and put it up there like that, and then go, is not to interfere with the tank. So we're at a standstill right now until that dries, figure out this, do the electrical, figure out what we're going to do on how we're going to do the gas, and that should do it. So that's where we're at. I'm going to need 2 hands to sit there and get these fenders on, so I'm just waiting until I get a body here to help me. I'm not going to damage them any more than I already have. But they hide underneath, they go underneath the chrome strip right here. and then to get the adjustment right and everything. So that's where we're at with that. So when I get more, I'll turn this back on later. Alright guys, this is what we started on the car. Got the amp in. This is the subwoofer. It's a 10-inch kicker. Didn't think we needed anything bigger. Everything is kicker, so that's the brand I chose to go with and that T-Dub recommended. Here's the amp. This is all the 6x9 speakers in the back. I think the one with the knot is the one for the right side. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to look and see what it says here. But everything's just roughly laid out. If you come down over here, you can see right down there, this is the kicker fuse and the cabling that goes to the amp. And so that's what we got going on in the back. Let me put this back up front here. So I can show you what we were doing in the car and tell you where we're at. I did get one 6x9 in, and I haven't been able to get the other 6x9 in. So I'm thinking probably later on this week I might, depending upon how I feel. I'm still fighting this, and it just, it's just, there's no ambition, there's no drive, there's nothing. It just, you feel blah all the time. So, but I have been ordering parts. I did order this for the mid-range and the tweeter, and then I was talking on called up ASIC Eric. I saw one of his videos, and I was going to comment. He's working on his firewall, and I think he's doing a 2nd or 3rd gen Camaro Z28. I can't remember. And we were talking stereos, and we had mentioned about the tweeters not going down low, and I totally spaced that. They don't go down low. They go up high. So I had already ordered these. These will be for the door panel somewhere, and it's a generic kit. I mean, you can end up glassing these in because there's a little lip here that you can sit there and glue and glass in. So then I kicked it around and I sat there and I said, okay, why not do A-pillar pods? Now you can split these right here, and these are 2-inch, and we can do the tweeters up in the A-pillar. So I ordered that, and that's just kicking around waiting for me to get back in to see what we're going to do. I haven't figured out what we're going to do. I still need to order the A-pillar trim pieces, and I need to order door panels. And we got a trip coming up for Texas. Give Elaine another shot at me for another cold. And we got another trip for Texas coming up here in about 3 weeks. So everything's going to have to wait till then. Back on the car, you can see T-Dub had the painless harness out, or the painless, the painless instructions out, and then he's got the Jensen instructions on wiring up the deck. He had those sitting here. As you can see, he's got the deck harness down there. Now when I redid this and cut it and redid the dash, I use a generic cage for the stereo, and the Jensen one is a little bit bigger, so I'm going to have to do some modifications on that, and we'll end up doing that later. That'll be one of the things I have to do, and so we'll end up doing that here in a bit, is getting that done. He's got pretty much everything all wired out, and that's for the glove compartment light. I have that disconnected, and the ashtray's back out sitting in the back of the car. The car itself, excuse me, is all back together. I did chip the, excuse the expression, I did chip the shit out of it on both fenders, right around here on both sides, but the lower trim is in. I'd like to have somebody tell me how they do that. If they tell you, if you do a metallic paint to paint the car all together and everything else, and then you've got to pull it all apart to put the trim pieces on. So, but the lower windshield trim is in, and that's good. It is, I got almost the same gaps as I had before. The hood fits a little better. It's a little nicer. Passenger side is about the same. It was always the wider side. Couldn't get it to, remember the doors open a little bit, but couldn't get it to line up. But then there's where I chipped it. And the front spoiler is right there. And we haven't put that on because I got to do a repair on it because we did scrape bottom going out of the driveway one time. And it did crack it, so I got to fiberglass fix it. So the only other thing I did is here's the backup camera that will go in, and it bolts up to the license plate brackets. And I had to go to McFadden Dale and get some different grommets to see if we can do that. So that's another project. So I got to modify the hole in there to fit this Jensen cage. Okay. Got to finish putting the 6x9s in. I have to do the backup light or the backup camera with and figure out the grommets on it. And still messing around with the mid-range and the tweeters. And so that's basically where the car's at. Probably get back on it sometime this week, depending upon how my sinuses go and everything else. But again, it's like I say, this thing just seems to be hanging on and fighting the good fight. So we'll turn that off. So that's basically where we're at. So that brings you up to date on the car. The ATC is gone. Yeah, T-Dub left Friday, January 4th. No, Saturday, January 5th, 4th, whatever. And that was the first thing to go in to he'd take it back with him. He had a trailer that he was towing back, and he Ironmanned it again and drove straight through. And they were back home Sunday morning. He left here at 9 o'clock. I had to call him and tell him to come back because he forgot something here, so he had to come back and pick that up. Got on the road by about 11, and he was home at his house Sunday morning by 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. So, but yeah, he drove it straight through. So that's all I got for now. That's where I'm at on the car. I did do a live show Friday, and here I'm again going to kick it around to everybody. I'd love to do a live show from in the garage, and with me working on this. Okay, and then showing you guys how to do it. I mean, I can mount my video camera on the tripod and showing you guys what I'm doing and everything else. But the problem with doing a live show is that you need a co-host, somebody to read the comments and to be shouting them out and yelling them to you so you can give answers. The whole idea for me for a live show, in my opinion, is to chat. If you're going to sit there and spend your time watching a live show and making comments in the chat, then the host of the live show should be addressing those comments and answering those comments. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. If you're going to invest the time, then that host needs to invest the time by answering your questions. And so I need a co-host. So I've been trying to find a co-host. The other thing that I thought of is I do my shows Friday at 2:30 in the afternoon, and I'm people are still at work, or some people still work around on the West Coast, that might be hampering their time on be able to be on or volunteer to be a co-host whatsoever. I don't know. So the other thing I was kicking around was Udizzy's no longer doing live shows on Saturday at 1:30. So I was thinking of taking over his spot at 1:30 on Saturday. That way anybody's off. I'm always in here Saturday working on the car. What I did for Udizzy show is I just took my lunch break. When I took for lunch, it was at during his show, so I can patronize his show. So I don't know. We're still kicking it around. I'll do a live show this Friday, and I'll come across with more of my ideas and what I'm planning on doing. And maybe we'll just switch my live show to Saturday at 1:30 and see who's going to be available to see if I get a co-host. And then I'll start doing my live shows out in the garage off the laptop. So, before I really start blabbering on, that's all I got for now. I want to thank everybody for watching, subscribing, and of course leaving comments. And everybody have a good day. We'll pick it up on the next one. Later.